Hello everyone, my name is Charles Ross. I also go by the hashtag Charles Formosa because I'm on the island of Formosa, which has heightened my frequency to such an extent over the years I've lived here that I am now able to remember incredible details. It could be sunlight, it could be the diet. Either way, the Caucasus Asian is in Asia, and that's where my ancestors were too. I've recently done more research on my grandfather who lived in China, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to connect the Tartarian Empire with the Tarmarian Empire. And anybody who's followed me, thank you very much for following me. It does inspire me. People are making it very hard for me to do my research. I'm having a lot of negative energy coming my way, but I'm way too high frequency now. Please, everyone, stop eating pork. It's very simple to do that. Stop eating pork. Okay. This is something that's recently come up in my research: the treasure cave of the Southern Illinois. I am fascinated, and one of my three main research projects will probably be for many years to the discoveries made in the early 1980s. Yes. In the early 1980s, we have the discovery of the great treasure hunters. Before the Grand Canyon was completely closed off to the public, which about 90% of it is. About 90% of it is. Now, I have so many amazing stories. There's just too many stories and not enough time to make videos. And these beautiful AI infographics, which I just adore. I'm not bored of making these. So, this is a story about a man who was a hunter. In 1982, he discovered an amazing cave that he wanted to get into. He was an explorer. This was his hobby. He did this on the weekends. In southern Illinois, within the Grand Canyon, he stumbled upon this hidden passage that led into a chamber, which was too narrow for him to get in, so he had to take off all his bags. His friend kind of pushed him through. He was able to make it through. He was obviously looking for what anyone would be looking for, which is proof of ancient civilizations within the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon looks the way it does because it was mined into, because there were this myth or this ancient story of 7 cities of gold in the true old world, the true promised land. And everyone knows now that Africa was actually America, and America is like a new modern name for this great empire of the Moors, this Tamarian Amaruku empire. And our decision to kind of draw lines and draw sort of borders around countries really is irrelevant because we are looking at America as being connected to Africa through the Grand Canyon. And as little sense as this might make geographically, these discoveries happened in the 1980s, and he squeezed through a small passage in the Grand Canyon, a very remote area which took him many days to get to. I'm not talking about something that's you're not going to be able to drive around the Grand Canyon and find this. You have to really go into places where no human has been for many hundreds of years. And it was filled with massive stone sarcophagi. So we only know 3 things about the findings. Number 1, that there were sarcophagi, that they were a black rock, a black stone, which could be some kind of basalt, and that they had ancient costumes within the sarcophagi, but nothing about mummies. He said there were ancient costumes and mummies, but in another record of this discovery, in another book, there is simply a mention of costumes and a descriptions and profiles, hieroglyphs and inscriptions and profiles, sculptures that were in profile. So this means it's a stone slab, it's on the ground, it's too big to move or carry out, but it's a profile of these African deities and possibly pharaohs. No mention of a mummy, even though the AI has written here that there were mummies. There are multiple records of this. So there are records that describe mummies, but usually it's just the costumes that mummies would have worn. And this may be because he took the mummies out and didn't want any record of him stealing them. So we really don't know. There were staffs. This is something else that we know, that there was golden staffs on the floor, very heavy, long rods. A staff is a long rod with usually some kind of sigil or emblem at the end. We also know that all the walls of this cave were covered in stories, hieroglyphs. He said stories or like legends. So it's not just hieroglyphs, it's also actual depictions of different events. Absolutely fascinating. Southern Illinois just seems to be a place where a lot of these discoveries were made in the 1980s, the early 1980s. What else was there? Sarcophagi, black slabs with stories. I have a few images that I'm going to try to post later. The biggest find, and I don't know if it was in the cave or outside of the cave, was the bull of Memphis. This was the Apis god. So you're looking for the Apis god, you're looking for Anubis, any kind of jackal-headed god, you're looking for the gods that seem to be found in the Grand Canyon a lot. And those kind of sculptures. So the Apis was called a bull god. And this was a statue that was also found in Memphis, Tennessee. By the same explorer in the early 1980s. So this is just something that I can give a little bit of information on. And if anyone has any more information on the golden staffs, specifically what they looked like, I presume they were long golden staffs with the crescent moon. And I have one picture of a stone slab with a man in profile, obviously an Egyptian man in profile. So this is probably one of the first big discoveries that I've come across. If you get any more information about the Apis bull or the Apis bull that was found, the Apis bull looks a little bit like this. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it was pretty cool looking. It originated in Memphis. So Memphis, Tennessee has an Egyptian bull god, which is insane. And it took me a long time to find out that it was in Memphis. A long time. They made that very, very hard because you keep thinking you're looking at something Roman or something Egyptian. And then you have to scroll. Even if you know exactly what you're looking for, they're making it very, very hard. And yeah. Because they keep referencing Egypt all the time. Even with this gentleman in the 1980s, getting the name was impossible. So far. But I want to try to just get the basic facts down on record in case I forget about this one. Yeah, so this is an ancient bull sculpture found also in the Southern Illinois cave, and inscriptions and hieroglyphs and stone slabs and staffs. What do we know about the Memphis bull? Not much. When I get more information, I'm going to talk about it. But in Egyptian bull found in Memphis, Tennessee, including this found, those are two big finds. It's called the Apis bull. Ciao, out till next time.